our witness, the things that we've done, the things that we need to do, and ask for strength and prosperity to continue to be able to thrive and have good health. We also lift our glass to the Almighty Creator, because the Creator owns everything. So we don't have to pour for them. But those angels, Abasums, Orisha, we pour for them. And Nana Sasiya, earth, we pour to them. Como presença alguém ficou presença não, outro eu com presença não, Nana Sasiya, presença não. We also want to call our ancestors who have crossed over, whose shoulders we stand on, and also those who have struggled for us. And we ask them to come and witness and present us with their presence. So we call on the ancestors, all your family members, and also our heroes and sheroes.
Rafi Green,
Margaret
James, Sister Bird, Baba Simba,
I'm in the womb.
Johnny Cochran.
Nat Turner, M.O.V.E,
Ambrose Lane.
Huey D. Newton,
Dr. Francis Chris Wellesley, yes, God. All those who haven't been born.
Ashe.
All of those who died in the middle passage. For all those to come.
Ashe.
Now, does anybody I'm Pam Master. I'm Minister. I'm Patricia's aunt. And you'll see us on Facebook walking together in the morning. Everybody see her in the morning on Facebook. I'll be walking with her in the morning. I'm Minister of Confrontation for the MOVE organization. And I'm also chairwoman of the International Uncompromised Concerned Family Friends of Munia Abu Jamal.
Ashe.
For those who don't know, who just walked in, the reason why we're up here is for the 7 days.
That's right.
Thank you.
That's right. Got some words for us, Brother Seth? You want some words for us?
Because of this age of time, it's very difficult with the prisoners coming out. We don't want to get them caught in the
Gotcha.
Looking at the mirror.
That's right.
beautiful thing.
Long time coming.
So, Brother Seth was the reason why we came up, you know, and my niece Patricia, and as soon as she found out we was coming, she set this together in split time, you know, because we all have information that we want to share. So we introduced ourselves, and so we like for people to go around the room and introduce themselves as well.
You first, brother. Peace and love, Sister Lion Blyden, President of Buffalo UNIA. It's an honor to have you all here. We appreciate it.
Honor, sister. My name is Kayla.
Bill Peoples, founding member of M.O.V.E. Welcome.
Betty Heath, New York State Upper Representative for ASCAP.
Shay.
And for the Solomon Myrie, I'm presently a proud member of the Sankofa Family Youth Camp. We're planning a camp for the children, and I'm a proud member of the Dory Miller Rifle and Gun Club.
I'm
permission to speak. My name is Sister Ayala. It is a pleasure and an honor to be with my brothers and sisters of this company. Ashe.
My name is Keith Woods.
Welcome, Reggie.
I'm Quincy, Patricia's friend, your writer. I'm here to learn, understand the youth and the
Hi, I'm Sophia Blyden. I'm the lady president of the Black Cross Nurses UNIA, and it is very much an honor and a pleasure to learn from the elders.
Nate Buckley, co-runner of the Burning Books.
The big girl.
Hi.
Bob Nash, New York, freelance troublemaker.
Shambo, from Buffalo, New York, facilitator of the African Conscious Workshop, youth facilitator of RBG Union, and so forth.
Sabir Rashid, give praise to the Creator for bringing us together for this meeting of the minds.
Patricia Elliott, proud member of the UNIA Division 433 here in Buffalo, and the lady of this house here, the Rafi Center, and these two came under.
I'm Jalen Garner, and I like boxing.
My man.
I'm Brother Kamal Fields. I'm the media person here, one of the media people here at the Rafi Green, and like I said, this is the freest space in Buffalo.
And my great niece over here.
Great niece.
Yes.
And that is?
Hi, I'm Kimberly.
Did you guys right there?
Somebody behind us.
Oh, Jayla.
Hi.
Who's that behind the desk over there? She said. She said, who's behind the desk?
I'm Jayla. Hi.
Please, Jayla. I think that's it, except for the babies over there.
Okay, so, we will talk about, a few things. A lot of people, was concerned about what happened with my family, the MOVE organization, and a lot of people don't know the background history of how things came and got to the point where it's out now, and that, from May 20th, it was clear that my family was completely innocent, and how events came about because of the love that our coordinator, John Africa, taught us to always be involved with our family members in the community. Your next door neighbors, your brother, your sister, their needs is our needs, and their problems is our problems. And when a person gas got cut off in the community, and John Africa taught me people how to make these stoves, and our galvanized, I think it's steel, and and hook them up, and part of the activity of the family was to chop wood, and provide wood for them, and feeding the homeless in the area, and people that wasn't homeless that just didn't have food. Also educating people dealing with the senior citizens homes in our area, and because a lot of senior citizens were being mistreated badly, and we would be exposing things that was happening. They knew that they had a place to come because we would be coming and knocking on the doors,
Yes, ma'am.
finding out how this sister is doing, how this brother is doing, and getting in contact with their family members to let them know that we were keeping an eye on them. In the wintertime, nobody had to shovel their payments, around where we lived at, because as a thing of building strength and building commitment and, love in the community, we shoveled, everybody's houses around the area for us, and there was never a charge, for doing it. And, like I said, I wasn't a part of MOVE at that particular time, but what they were saying, that they were building strength for the revolution,
and that everyone should be, equipped and, building. Some youth had joined in, some elders had joined in, and we started a whole thing where you just shuffle, more and more. And people that, want to, they donate. But elders and, mothers and stuff without help, it was our job to help them. And also to educate people about the necessities of life, which is your air, your water, and the very land that your food come up in. And and so we were labeled anti, back to nature, nuts, because we shunned a lot of the technology, in our homes, our children. Oh, you got my earring. Where's that? And our brother said had to leave, right now. And he's been too blessed. He had people here to help him, because of the work he did while he was in prison, before he went to prison. And, people just surrounded him when he came out, telling him to take care of me. Because, when you come out of prison, especially if something here, you don't have a social security card, you don't have, the things that are necessary to help you. And brother Stephanie almost lost him several times. One year died inside the prison, but it wasn't for the help of the people. And I'm quite sure my job was involved in letting people know, about the conditions that, they had. Because, they torture our people inside the prisons anyway, but people who are upright fighting against this government on the inside and the outside because they couldn't break him, they tortured him. He wound up with hepatitis C in prison, and he wound up with, all kind of illness, neuropathy from diabetes and things. And these are some of the things we want to talk about too, about what goes on inside the prison. Yes, and I'm quite sure I come here to learn as well. I take information back to our community, and so anyway, back with the family, and I'm gonna shorten this story up, but I want to, because a lot of people always see the August 8th confrontation between us and Rizzo, and and a lot of people, see the May 13th where they dropped the bomb, and killing our family, but it was something that started it. It wasn't the fact that, we used profanity properly, and and dealing with the monsters, and I'm telling you, as I talk, and some MFers might come out, and because I'm trying to be cool, but it's going to come, just let you know. But it's descriptive, it's not, the word is English, it's not African, it's not, Puerto Rican, that word is a word that is American, so part of that American language. But, so building that trust within the community and being consistent, with it. And, it came to the point where M.O.V.E. was demonstrating against places like Puppy Palace. That's where they prostitute animals and sell them. And I used to think it was a beautiful place to go to, where you see you pick your fish out the fish tank, and all the different animals that you can buy and bring home. And the zoo was something that I also thought was something that's there for our enjoyment. The zoo. M.O.V.E. was demonstrated against the circus about the way the elephants and things was treated. And I got a real close look at some things, because they was talking about how, the elephant, a lot of times you would see the trainer take a stick his head on the floor, and the elephant would put his foot right here and wouldn't put it down any further. That's because they had been shocked into performing the way that they wanted to do. For our amusement, they were torturing these animals, and a lot of them was dying, so M.O.V.E. was exposing that, and they exposed it in a way the first time I really heard it, was May 20th of 1977. May 19th of 1977, and I heard the name Malcolm, Black Panthers I was afraid of, that was because of my background. My father, he sold liquor, he ran numbers, he did several things in order to keep, you know, his lifestyle, you know, together. And one thing that you couldn't do, you couldn't be that, you couldn't have a daughter, you know, involved in any kind of movement or a son. So he taught us to fear, you know, anything that led into a movement, which we didn't understand at that point, and for our real survival. So, you know, with that, on May 20th, and you know, I didn't know Malcolm, and I had seen the movie of Attica prior to that, and it didn't move me one bit. And when they were killing the black men, it didn't move me one bit. I thought they were justified in what they were doing, and I just figured, you know, right away that, you know, we black folks, you know, was guilty of everything that they said we were. And the stripping of the Panthers, and you know, I thought that was something that they deserved, you know, as well. So I have to say who I am to explain where I'm at right now and what was happening there. On May 20th, M.O.V.E came out on a platform with weapons. And they were saying that the reason why they were out there was sneaking behind the fact that, you know, babies had been murdered, you know, and M.O.V.E. And long before May 13th, and there were several Alberta, Africa, after demonstration, and because we're relentless in our demonstration. This is what that is right now. This is another demonstration right here. And so M.O.V.E was good at doing the demonstrations. At the Board of Education, and you know, back then it was not proper to go in there the way M.O.V.E went in there to demonstrate about the miseducation of everyone, and you know, from A to Z, and so we would be locked up because we would not sit down. We were trying to put out information, but not allow them to spread misinformation to people on a daily basis and make people the cause of the problems that we were having. And same thing with, you know, different, you know, political events and things that people would be going to. We demonstrated against Jesse Jackson, and we demonstrated back then, and you know, a lot of you know, people that was misleading, and but when M.O.V.E took that platform, I was of the understanding that people, because the dangers of dealing with TVs. We had channel 3, 6, 10, 17, 29, 48, those all the channels you had at that particular time. And the Daily News, the Enquirer, and a couple of the Philadelphia Tribune, and which covered some stories about M.O.V.E in the right way. But mostly, I didn't even read the Philadelphia Tribune. I was the Daily News, the Enquirer, I was 3, 6, 10. So everything that they said about M.O.V.E, that M.O.V.E was filthy and M.O.V.E was dirty, and you know, they wouldn't work, you know, here or there, and nobody in the community gave a damn about them. I was always a community person, but I wasn't one in my community. I lived in West Philly, but I worked in South Philadelphia, and because I was involved with a group called Brotherhood Service Group, dealing with my 2 boys, and you know, I wanted to be a part of everything that was happening with them. So in West Philadelphia, you know, I didn't know too much about the neighbor on this side, because they were communists. I knew that. I knew we had an African family on the other side of the street. We had some other people, and I would wave to them, hi, good morning, how are you doing? Who? And because, you know, you don't really know. And, you know, what I'm saying is, I learned to actually genuinely care about who this is over here. It's a necessity. Who's here and who's over there and who's behind me. And so when they came out on the platform on May 20th, and they pointed out that all the atrocities that have been happening over the year, and they gave the example of demonstrating, I don't know whether it was at Puppy Palace or where they was demonstrating, when they locked the women up, and because there have been so many lockups and wanted so many cases, they go to jail, you know, the following day might be a whole nother bunch come through, and they couldn't bring them. So they started doing, you know, real dangerous, you know, terroristic things. Our sister Alberta, Africa, who was arrested with other M.O.V.E women, they pulled her out of the cell, and right there at 8th and Race, and they threw her down on the ground. One cop got copped out this name, another copped out this one, and a black matron by the name of Robinson repeatedly kicked my sister Alberta Africa in the womb, in the side, in the stomach and stuff, till she miscarried there on the floor. Our other sisters, Rhonda Africa, they were going to the store after the demonstration, and they were attacked, and they were beaten, and Rhonda was beaten so bad when her baby was born, 2 days later, it had black and blue marks all over it. Several cases, like this. Our men was beaten at, when we was demonstrating at the reservoir, or we was demonstrating at, at the zoo, when we was doing police brutality demonstrations, because we was tying all these things and with the water. And that's how we got to think that we were back to nature nuts, and because we demonstrated about the water, we demonstrated about the pollution in the air, we demonstrated about where the food come from, and all these, like the government. When you start protesting about the water, we come up with something called, okay, we got a legislation, it's the Clean Air Act, the Clean Water Act, the Clean This Act, and all of them was just acts. And because if they were real, if you was cleaning up the water, back then, that's 1977, I think that they had about 3 or 4 different kinds of waters now. Now there's rows and rows and rows of water, and none of it's good. No matter what they tell you, if it's in plastic, it's no good. That's something that the earth will not accept. It's plastic. And they started explaining to us that, you'll have, we had actual, back then, in our health food stores, and they sold really organic foods, and it didn't look like what you saw in the supermarket. All the tomatoes wasn't uniform, the peaches, the pears, and you will see evidence of a worm had been there or something, or some of the leaves have been eaten off of. You don't see that no more because of the chemicals that they put in there, and they're not putting it in there for our health. It's, to keep the fruit and the food at a certain level so that they can continue to sell it while killing us. And because their only concern is the dollar. We demonstrated at places that, had food, like right now. And we have demonstrated at Home Food. We have demonstrated at Mom's. We still demonstrate at the reservoir. We still demonstrate at, Puppy Palace and, the zoo and any place that, borders life. And the reason that what made it very clear to me was when they was talking about how we were snatched from Africa and brought over here and put on a slave block. And, people who wanted to buy slaves, and they wanted to look at your limbs and see how strong they were, and, look at your teeth, your eyes and things. When you go to buy a puppy, and you want to know, what is the background of this puppy, is it pedigree, and they'll match the strongest, ones and put them out front, and, they sold better, and, she's a good, I don't know what they call the heifers or what, and, back then, and, if she's some good, this brother here can mate with her, and what they can bring us. That's the same thing that's happening with animal life. And an elephant do not belong in, an area about this size. And the jungle is its home, and it's supposed to roam free. It shouldn't have to depend on, people to feed it. And, and then that whole myth in dealing with indigenous people, when they was moving from one spot to the other, it was out of respect for the land. When you use this land up here and you fed the earth, you put your, food back into the earth in order to keep it rich, and you move to another spot. And they made people think that they were crazy. All they do is just roam around and just go from place to place. And also it was like, a whole educational, part there. And the whole thing with education, I mean, really, we got to know about the miseducation of, black people. It's a miseducation of all people. And because if you're not educating everybody to the wrongs that's what's happening here, and that cycle will continue. So M.O.V.E. had the power to pull in all people, and animal rights, movement, you name it, and movement was able to come in. So when a confrontation kicked off, and they was explaining to people, and like I said, May 19th, I didn't know it was Malcolm's birthday, and so they're kicking off, all this information, and all of a sudden I'm hearing people in the community talk about the goodness of M.O.V.E. the goodness of M.O.V.E. What the, you know, I saw them, you know, washing cars, you know, and, you know, they had cars for blocks around. People was coming because they did good, and it was also talking to people. And I would repeat what I was told, and it don't work no, because it wasn't my idea of a job. And you know, I would see them with food up there and fixing. I was like, you know, who could eat something from them dirty motherfuckers? You know, excuse me. That's, you know, I had to say how I was saying it at that particular point. Who? And nappy heads, you know, dreadlocks wasn't something that, you know, people seen all the time then. And you know, it was people mostly had their hair covered up. And if you was going to some event and it was time to pull it off and shake it and, you know, do what you gotta do. I mean, it was like, you know, within us and you know, kind of thing. But when M.O.V.E. took that defensive stand, and they talked about the killing of Janine Africa's baby. And she's one of the political prisoners that's still in jail right now. Her 3-year-old baby left Africa on March 16, 1976. The cops, the big family had did a demonstration, and when they got finished before the demonstration, they was locked up, beat up, thrown in jail, and then they let them out around 9 o'clock at night. And when they let them out at 9 o'clock at night, you know, whenever, you know, well, you see how her people coming in here, and because I'm really glad, you know, to see people. And our people were beat up earlier that day. So when they came out, and you know, people was coming and clapping like this, hey, you know, Jerry's home, this one's home. And you know, and an elder who lived across the street was telling me what he saw happen. And cop cars came from this way. They was coming up my block. I saw that the cop cars coming up this block, and they was coming in from this area. And you know, and they began to beat M.O.V.E. people that night. And Janine Africa, her husband was one of the people who was being released from jail, and she had a 3-week-old baby named Life Africa. She came out, and you know, just before the stuff started, and you know, baby in her arm, and she getting ready to go to the massacre, and you know, starting, and as she's coming out, the cops is grabbing and they beating people. She got the baby in her arm. The one cop grabbed this arm, the other one grabbed this one. Is what the elder was telling me. He said, and he heard the baby when it hit the ground, and you know, and then the cops, and you know, because she's trying to pull it again, and they did it like this. If you look at the August 8th, 1978 tape, and when and it's on video, you will see when they went into the house with an illegal warrant and was bringing out people out after they did several, you know, 1,000 rounds of ammunition shot in there, 1,000 pounds of water pressure they did. When everybody came out alive, and I think it was Janine's baby, it was one of the women's babies. You could see the cop. He had the baby and he was carrying it, and with his feet, his head down here, and he was carrying it just like this. It's on the tape. So, you know, on August 8th, you know, they had no feeling whatsoever. So Janine's baby was killed. They locked up several of the brothers that night, and it was called, they said we was disorderly, and you know, they had to come here because they had a phone call. Well, we lived in I think it's the 18th district, 16th district. But in the midst of the fight, because they was involved in the fight once they started, and we had no win in there. But the nightsticks from the 18th district was there. There was cops' hats from other districts, so they had brought in several cops, not to arrest someone because of a disorderly conduct thing, but it was a planned massacre that night, which kicked off a confrontation that on May 20th of 77, it was a situation where, you know, M.O.V.E. had heard that the cops was coming, and rather with another illegal warrant, so M.O.V.E. took a defensive stand. That's how in between that, and when the neighbors were saying, you know, how the cops would try to blend in, and because, you know, they were guilty, majority of cops that was down there, and people in the community knew, and they was pointing at this is cops, and this is in his van, and you know, and M.O.V.E. kept saying this thing about move one, and that you want, you know, and some people said, well, what is move one? They said that's the army, right? You know, who's army, right? And before then, it's real important to what it was that M.O.V.E. was doing prior to that, because M.O.V.E. was always in the alleyways, feeding stray dogs, feeding stray cats, and you know, on top of, you know, and putting bird feed on top of roofs and down, you know, going in the empty houses to see, because sometimes people would tie animals in, so people would sit, but I used to say, damn, that's what they doing up there. There they go again, putting that stuff out in the alleyway, fresh red meat, and for, you know, the animals that was in that area, and they were also cleaning up, you know, behind it. And also, the cops knew for a fact, and the neighbors knew for a fact that M.O.V.E. was everywhere, and then people were in their windows, and you know, shouting, you know, like throwing up fist signs, you know, for M.O.V.E. The cops had actually put people out of their houses and put sandbags, and they had the guns aimed at men, women, and children, who was clearly stating, you want to come and talk to me? You talk. And you want to come, you know, with your nightsticks, and beating, maiming, killing. M.O.V.E. put their baseball bats up, and they said, come on with it, right? And you know, and me at that particular time, I was not down here because I gave a damn about M.O.V.E. or about anything. You know, I'm hearing something all of a sudden, and I'm looking at this power that's happening, because I'm watching hot cars just shoot on by, and because usually they would have came in and arrested them, right? You're not seeing any of that. And then what also is happening, the neighbors is telling about who M.O.V.E. is and what it was that M.O.V.E. was about, and you know, the whole elderly thing, dealing with the police brutality, you know, helping to feed people, dealing with people with their marriages, men and women that was, you know, in conflict with each other, and they were actually sitting down having talks with them, and I found that out by the couple that was next to me, because the guy was very abusive to his woman, and you know, and he wasn't anymore. This is his story telling me as I'm listening and watching what's going on. But at a point, they had made agreement, because M.O.V.E. had several of the neighborhood dogs, and they'd always tell you, M.O.V.E. had all these dogs, you know, in the house, you know. These were dogs that people would buy at Christmas time or a birthday, little puppy, the puppy was so cute, but let the puppy, you know, squat and pee on the floor, let the cat scratch the furniture, and no longer was that. So a lot of people would throw, you know, put them out. And that's for their own. And then of course you see people, that damn cat in my garbage can, you know, this one here done tore my bag up. So, you know, M.O.V.E. took care of that, and by, you know, feeding and taking care of the animals. When Inspector Fenton said that, you know, they talked and they wanted to know what was going on, and like I'm telling you, it was all over the news media, what was happening. And all over the radio, so people was getting off their buses, and they was coming, the streets was filling up all around, and people was getting the first hand of M.O.V.E. and the house was strategically, you know, placed for a particular confrontation, because it's still back then, and you know, urban removal, and you know, is where in the neighborhood where blacks was at, all of a sudden white people was moving in. Drexel and the University of Pennsylvania was moving closer and closer into the neighborhood, and they got to the point where they was at with M.O.V.E. and M.O.V.E. wasn't moving, and M.O.V.E. was educating people about why not to move, why they shouldn't move, and what was going on, and that there was black people that was in our community that was miseducating people by telling them, you know, to get out. And then of course, you know, they put the drugs in at that time. You had the gang wars that's going on at the same time. And, you know, people moving in. You have students that are coming in there, white and black, and don't understand, and, you know, the economic part of what was going on there. Because when you wind up, you have people who don't have a place to stay. You have people who moving in who have, you know, a summer house, a winter house, or this house, and, you know, they got everything. And people started taking from them. Then they started attacking the youth. And there was, you know, parents that sent them into college. They sent them into a war zone. And, you know, so M.O.V.E. was making understood that the college students and and in the community, they was pulling together, and they started fighting part of the urban removal that was happening there. So, you know, the mere fact that this black family and John Africa's family was able to pull in, you know, the whole community around them, and is what kicked off that confrontation. The locking, the beating, the murdering of babies was not stopping, you know, move at all. It kept going. And finally, when the confrontation kicked off, the people had pushed, the cops had took and pushed one part of the neighborhood back a block this way, say M.O.V.E. was sitting here. And the neighbors that was here, they pushed them back a block this way, that way. And I managed to get into the house across the street from me, and I'm looking down on M.O.V.E. And, you know, you could see the cops. It was clear that they was getting ready to kill him. The weapons was aimed at the babies' heads, and this was so miraculous to me. I'm looking at these babies, and I'm looking at these women, and I'm looking at the person that's putting out information about why they're there, and all. They saying, you know, if you want to kill us, you're going to have to do it right here for everybody to see. But people know why you're doing it. That was the advantage of educating people and the media being there, because they're capturing everything, you know, as it was happening. And like I said, I didn't know M.O.V.E. I mean, I saw him, I didn't like him. When it was clear that they was getting ready to kill M.O.V.E., I was the first person to break through the blockade and pull and tell people, come on. And we jumped onto the platform, and M.O.V.E. was telling people, get back, we got this. But people had their children in their arms, elders, college professors, doctors and stuff, all came and joined in there. The only reason why they didn't kill us, because it was not a predominantly black neighborhood that night. And the neighborhood was a mixed one, bricks on this side, and, you know, people with money moving in, but they were all, a lot of them was involved in this. So anyway, once the people came out, you know, got involved there, and you know, people didn't know whether they was going to live or die through this. And the cops backed up. They gave the word for them to back up. The following morning, which is important, and it was in the newspaper, Police Commissioner O'Neill said, M.O.V.E. had the right to bear arms on their own property. Rhetoric doesn't disturb us. Let M.O.V.E. speak. Well, behind the fact that it was not something that they knew was coming, and it was so massive, and all these people involved in media from everywhere, so, you know, he did the right thing. It was true. You know, M.O.V.E. hadn't pointed their weapons at anybody, and the rhetoric was, you know, everything that I was telling you then, and so that got by. Later on that evening, you see where the mayor, who was Rizzo at that time, the police commissioner had meetings, right? The next day they issued warrants for inciting a riot, disorderly conduct, and you know, holding our children hostage, and you know, all those things. This is what kicked off the whole confrontation, where you know, with the support of the people, and you know, because M.O.V.E. was saying, "You're not going nowhere." Their position was to take you out, and you know, they only had the weapons out for 3 hours that day. But every day on the news media, when you get early in the morning, late at night, they'll break in, and they'll show M.O.V.E. on the platform with their weapons, and say that we had seized the neighborhood, and people was afraid of this, and then at the same time, we're seeing people coming up there. People was being arrested for possession of water, bringing water to M.O.V.E., possession of, you know, food.
Possession
they
of
didn't
water.
want you to do any of that. The car wash, the neighbors, we were getting locked up because we was people still bringing their cars there. So the neighbors was washing the cars, and we returned the money, you know, over to M.O.V.E. And these are the things that people don't know about what was going on then. But at the same time, it's all documented. It's all documented. So, and the thing kicked off on May 20th, they hooked up a blockade, cutting off food and water supply for an 8-block radius around our houses in order for people to come into Powelton Village. You had to show ID. Sometimes you can get in, and sometimes you wouldn't. A lot of times they wouldn't let me in. I wound up getting locked locked up, and I went to the Philadelphia Tribune and some article where, you know, I went in and I refused to leave. And, cause they, you know, I went and I was always telling them what was happening, and they would always write the story. But I always had to go back to the same damn problem. And, so I decided that I was gonna sit there. I took my children and put them someplace else, sitting there, you know, until they brought somebody down here to deal with the situation. And, you know, because I couldn't get no relief. I go home, my children in the house, I can't get in because they're at the corner and they saying I couldn't come through, my ID wasn't good enough, or, you know, but anyway, they wound up erecting the blockade because, you know, not the blockade moved in, but to block the community, the people who was coming from all over. And, you know, because they constantly putting this picture of these black folks with these weapons on there, and this sensationalism, and people want to know, well, what the hell is going on? So when they get there, they're talking to move, there's no guns out, and people don't like, well, where's the guns? Couple hours that first day. And see, one thing about these people, they don't mind they don't mind killing, but they damn sure don't want to be killed. And it was just like they went into Vietnam. They wasn't held home. They was in somebody else's land. They did not know the lay of the land. And we knew the lay of the land. We was one with the people. Not all the people. And but there was people who just couldn't deal with the fact that, you know, you deal with these people about the urban removals, you know, stuff, and because they felt that, you know, we want to make the communities better. And we want a better community too. And but put in there what you putting in there for these people that's coming in, that's taking our community, that, you know, overpowering our schools. And you know, so, you know, that was the beginning of that confrontational part that people don't know. And to this day, that people don't understand that everything they did from May 21st, everything was illegal. The putting up of the blockade, the putting up of, and then, you know, we truly believe in God. We truly believe in the ancestors. And the name Africa, John Africa took that name on because of the power. This is where, you know, everything in Ra, you know, comes from. And, you know, so that's why the name Africa is there. John Africa, Pam Africa, Ramona Africa, this Africa. And when you hear these names, you hear consistency, constantly going after this whether you're inside the prison or outside the prison. And how we continue to go like this, people we want to know. And we continue to go like this simply behind the fact that we understand there is no choice. Mm-hmm. People say you're fearless. I'll be damned. And we are in fear of. I'm in fear of the water I drink. I'm in fear of, you know, this. I'm in fear of the cop that, you know, can get away with murder. So in that fear, you take that fear. You don't power down with that. And, you know, you fight.
Yes, ma'am.
To get this up off of you. I don't want my children to fear. And, you know, the fear in a way that you would not, you know, because I'm saying these people are to be feared. They are definitely to be feared.